8-Bit Dylan! Time for the intro to my videos. Just make weird noises with your mouth. After that intense class trial, everyone headed to bed with sorrow in their hearts, more so than the last trial. Tokyo had been a good friend of everyone's, and she just got caught in a terrible situation with no way out. With only 4 students left in the school, only time could tell what Monokuma had planned for them. In the morning, Masashi had to wait to tell everyone about the secret passageway he had found the day before, because Monokuma had eyes everywhere. If he was going to let everyone know, he had to do so secretly inside of the bathhouse, since there seemed to be no cameras inside there.
Good morning, students. I hope you all have had a wonderful sleep. The 4th and final floor of the school has been opened up to you all. Explore, explore, explore!
With another floor opened up, the school began to feel vast and empty compared to the amount of students who were inside of it. Everyone rushed from the dining room to the stairs to the 4th floor to see what new stuff had been unlocked. Alright guys, it's time for us to explore the brand new 4th and final floor of Hope's Peak Academy. As you can see, there's some very strange yellow lighting that's on the 4th floor hallways. And with the 4th floor unlocked, we have a brand new music room that has a DJ station, a grand piano, as well as an organ set. There's also a guitar and a violin if that tickles the fancy of any of the students inside of the school. As always, we've got some more public restrooms for our students to utilize. Next, we have a headmaster's room, which is actually pretty dusty and looks like it hasn't been used in quite some time. And at the far end of the hall, it seems to be some sort of faculty room that the teachers and staff members used to use for meetings, as well as having their own little desk so that way they could organize all of their stuff. There also seems to be a laboratory of some sort. It is both a chemistry as well as an anatomy class, and inside of the storage unit seems to be some sort of chemicals or something like that, as well as some anatomy figures and charts. And lastly, there seems to be this mysterious door that Monokuma has told the students is a command center of some sort. I wonder what's inside there, asked Sata as the 4 students stared at the door with caution. No one wanted to be the first one to open it, but Monokuma was quick to entice everyone to open that door.
Oh, go on already. You might like what I have inside for you all,
exclaimed Monokuma over the school PA system. With a hesitating sigh, Hokusai knew that someone had to open that door, so he led the charge into the command center. Inside, though, the students could not have guessed what Monokuma had in store for them. Lying down on a desk, dazed and confused, was someone new. Someone the students immediately thought was the mastermind behind all of this. Why did you bring us here? Who are you? We want answers! Demanded Masashi as Monokuma entered the room.
Oh, don't be so stupid, Masashi. That isn't me. Well, isn't me anymore, that is.
Giggled Monokuma as he explained who this new person was.
Let's just say that this person was a student who was close to graduating last year, but had to be held back and has been serving detention ever since.
What do you mean, serving detention? So you're saying this person used to be you?
What I'm saying is when you are a genius mastermind like me, you get other people to do your work for you. This guy was controlling me for a little while, but the original owner is now back at work. Consider him now a new student to the class.
While Monokuma was monologuing, Masashi saw this as the perfect opportunity to quickly whisper to the other classmates about a meeting he wanted to have in the bathhouse later that night to discuss the exit he had found. Monokuma didn't even notice what Masashi had said.
Anyway, I have business to attend to, so have fun, students, and don't get too comfortable.
The students were left with this mysterious man, a dog tag hanging from his neck with the word Enigma written on it. He appeared to have been drugged recently and was just coming to when Monokuma left the room.
What? Where am I? Oh God. The students!
Shouted Enigma. Okay, mister. We have a lot of questions to ask and you're going to answer them. You hear me? yelled Yurisa. Quickly, Masashi and Hokusai snatched the mysterious new student up, and everyone made their way to the dining room to properly quiz him for answers. What did Monokuma mean when he said that you were controlling him from the beginning? Asked Sata.
You know.
The man was having trouble finding the words to explain his situation.
If I told you guys, you wouldn't believe me. I'm a prisoner in this place just like the rest of you. I woke up here without any memory of my past and was told I had tasks to complete,
said Enigma.
What kind of tasks? Who even are you?
Questioned Hokusai.
Sadly, I don't even remember my name. Monokuma just called me Enigma because that's what my dog tag said. I was told that my family and friends were being held captive and that in order to set them free, I would have to do everything the mastermind told me to do. The problem was, I didn't even remember my friends or family. I don't even know who I am. What I did know, though, is that if I didn't do what the mastermind said, I would be killed. So I did it.
So you did it. You were the one controlling Monokuma this entire time. You were the one who forced us to kill our own friends, shouted Masashi across the table.
Believe me, I didn't want to do those things. But if I didn't, I would have been promptly killed. The mastermind, whoever they are, fed me instructions each morning via a computer screen, and I was forced to have to complete them. You have to believe me. I don't know who or why we are even here in the first place.
Angered, Yurisa took a seat right next to Enigma to yell at him.
Why should we even trust you? Do you realize the torment we had to go through because of what you did? You're no better than the mastermind. Don't forget to mention that he conveniently can't remember who he is. Remember what Monokuma said about him being a student held back a year? I bet he knows a lot more than he's letting on.
Guys, stop. If what Enigma is saying is true, he's a victim just like the rest of us, pleaded Sata.
Bullshit. He's not a victim. He didn't have to do what the mastermind was telling him to. But he did it because he didn't want to become what he was making us turn into. A pack of students who are just waiting to be picked off one by one, shouted Yurisa angrily before storming out of the dining room. You know what? Call me what you want, but I would have still done what I did in order to stay alive. The same goes for your friends who didn't have to murder and do what I was telling them to do. You can't pin this on me, yelled Enigma before he stormed out of the dining room as well. An awkward silence hung over the school for the rest of the day as people went about their business until Masashi's meeting in the bathhouse later that night. Late at night, the 4 students in different time intervals entered the bathhouse to talk with one another without the prying eye of Monokuma watching over them.
I'm glad you all showed up. I've got something super important to tell you all without Enigma or Monokuma watching, said Masashi in a whisper-like tone.
You don't have to worry about Enigma. He's sleeping in Ebizo's old room. Apparently, Monokuma opened it up for him to be able to sleep there since he doesn't have a bedroom, whispered Sata.
Masashi began telling the group how exactly he managed to find an exit out of the school and needed help figuring out a way to get past the brick wall that came between them and the outside world.
You said it was normal old bricks, right? Nothing crazy or futuristic?
Asked Hokusai, who appeared to be thinking rather hard on a method to escape.
Yeah, just a normal brick wall. I could grab a hammer from the tool shed in the green room and just start hitting the wall, but I fear that Monokuma could quickly hear me and stop us from getting out.
I've got an idea that will involve using the chemicals from the chemistry lab on the 4th floor. Some of the chemicals in the storage shelves are highly acidic, and when combined could become a super powerful dissolving agent that could eat away at the wall without making any noise, said Hokusai, touting his knowledge prowess.
How exactly would that work?
Questioned Sata.
Basically, I could pretend that I'm just experimenting with the chemicals upstairs tomorrow morning and put a powerful version of sulfuric acid into a spray bottle for Masashi to use. Then tomorrow evening, we'll make a distraction so Monokuma's preoccupied while Masashi slips into the secret passageway and sprays the sulfuric acid onto the wall and leaves quickly, letting the acid do its job overnight. Then the next day, we group up and make a dash for the exit before Monokuma can even react to our escape plan, said Hokusai with a proud smile on his face.
Yurisa looked confused but intrigued.
Yeah, I guess that could work. What about Enigma? Are we going to tell him about this?
There's no way anyone is spilling the beans to that traitor, reminded Masashi. He's already shown he can't be trusted. Fearing that they had been in the bathhouse for too long, the group quickly exited and waited to enact their plans the next day. In the morning, everyone showed up to the dining room for breakfast except for Enigma, who had decided to instead stay inside Ebizo's room away from the rest of the class. Everyone was trying to put on their best poker faces to hide their excitement at potential escape tomorrow. The day went relatively easy, with Sata trying to comfort Enigma from outside his bedroom door, to Yurisa attempting to get over the death of Tetsu by working out in the gym to de-stress. When the time came, Hokusai silently worked in the chemistry lab, creating a super powerful version of sulfuric acid for Masashi to use. Later that night, it was time to distract Monokuma. Sata and Yurisa set up to have a fake argument and involve Monokuma into it to gain his attention. "He's a robotic bear. He doesn't have an actual soul, you idiot," yelled Yurisa at Sata, trying hard not to burst into a smile and break her cover.
What the heck, Yurisa? Monokuma definitely has a soul. Everything has a soul, especially if it can walk and talk like Monokuma, shouted Sata, trying to play dumb for the sake of an argument.
Without fail, Monokuma burst into the room, eager to hear the two women fight over him.
"Oh my, have I become the topic of this fun little debate?"
said Monokuma modestly, hoping the women would continue their ridiculous fight. Meanwhile, in the trophy room passageway, Masashi was quick to enter and spray down the brick wall with the sulfuric acid Hokusai managed to whip together. Thankfully, sulfuric acid cannot eat through plastic, so his hands were safe while spraying down the wall.
Whatever, Yurisa. I guess we will just agree to disagree then,
ended Sata in the argument while Monokuma looked disappointed.
"You ladies sure are terrible at debating. Blah! Consider me bored,"
exclaimed Monokuma as he quickly exited the library. The plan had been set in place. Now all they had to do was wait till the morning and finally they would be out of the school. Everyone had a hard time finding sleep as their minds began to race through images of reuniting with their families and being out of this dreadful school. The next morning, everyone met back up in the dining hall. Enigma still inside of his room, not wanting to come out. In the back of their minds, they knew they could leave without him. But something inside of Sata told her it just wouldn't be right.
Please excuse me, guys. I have to go powder my nose real quick, excused Sata as she left the dining room to the confusion of the rest of the students.
Quickly, she made her way over to Abizo's old bedroom and swiftly knocked on the door.
Hey, Enigma. I know you're mad at the rest of the students, but I really want to apologize for everyone's reactions. We were pretty anxious after losing so many of our friends, and I really want to make amends. Please, will you come out of your room and have breakfast with us?
Pleaded Sata from outside of Enigma's new bedroom. A tiny commotion could be heard from behind the door, and after a few minutes of waiting, it opened and Enigma stepped out.
"Okay, whatever,"
was all Enigma said as the both of them returned to the dining room. The rest of the students seemed a bit peeved that Enigma was joining them on this escape from the school, but there was nothing they could do about it. "Hey guys, let's go upstairs and play some games in the rec room," exclaimed Masashi with a hint of something in his voice. Everyone but Enigma was in on the plan, but reluctantly he joined them as they walked down the hall towards the stairwell near the trophy room. Now was the time to escape. As they approached the hallway leading to the trophy room, they set out into a sprint, dragging Enigma behind them. Quickly, Masashi opened up the passageway, and when everyone entered it, they discovered something shocking. Where the brick wall had been previously, now stood a thick steel wall blocking their exit. Standing in shock, everyone could hear the sound of Monokuma giggling from inside the trophy room.
"Did you really think that your escape plan was going to work?"
questioned Monokuma behind fits of laughter. Despair quickly set in. They were so close to leaving the school and all of their dreams were quickly dashed. How did Monokuma even get wind of their plan?
"That is cute that you think I didn't have cameras or microphones in the bathhouse, but I could definitely hear what was being said. I do have to give you all credit though. I've had 27 different classes of students inside of my school, and not once has anyone ever found an exit out. You all deserve a gold star for your willingness to think outside of the box,"
giggled Monokuma. You could see the hope draining from everyone's faces as Monokuma spoke.
"In fact, I want to reward you guys for being able to do something that no other student has ever been able to do. You will have 3 days to commit the final murder. If you are successful in killing someone and getting away with it, I will allow the Blackened and 2 students of their choosing to leave and graduate, leaving behind 1 person to suffer the class's punishment. If, however, the Blackened is caught, then the rest of the student body will be allowed to graduate and leave my school. Finally, if after 3 days another murder isn't completed, then I will forever lock you guys inside of Hope's Peak Academy with no hope of escape. consider this my punishment for breaking my rules and trying to leave," explained Monokuma to the further shock of the student body.
Everyone stood there stunned at what Monokuma had to say. This time the rules were different. No more skirting around the issue of a murder on the horizon. It was either someone dies, or they're all trapped in here forever. Not a word was said after Monokuma left them, bored that no one had anything to add to the conversation. After minutes of silence, Hokusai turned his attention to Enigma.
"You told him, didn't you?" shouted Hokusai as he looked like he was about to lunge after the newest student at the school. "I didn't even know you guys had this stupid plan in the first place. How would I have told Monokuma, and why would I even tell Monokuma about the plan if I knew about it?"
I swear that the bathhouse doesn't have any microphones. I searched that room up and down before deciding to meet there. Someone had to have told and spilled the beans.
Are you sure about that? What reason would anyone have to tell Monokuma anything? I think we're all just being a bit paranoid.
Paranoid? No. We also had a way out of here, and now everything is ruined. Tetsu and the others didn't die for us to be so close to escape, exclaimed Eureka. Everyone parted ways, angry at the near chance of leaving Hope's Peak Academy. Left to their own devices, everyone was cautious of what the other students were up to. Would someone actually murder another student, trying to be a hero to allow some of the others safe passage out of here? When it came to dinner time, everyone ate on their own. When it came to interactions, everyone seemed distant from one another. It wasn't until Masashi decided to finally say something that the awkward tension was broken.
Hey, I'm having everyone gather inside of the music room if you want to come by. Figured I'd try to do something to lift everyone's spirits a bit,
said Masashi to Sata, who had been spending a lot of her time inside of the art room. One by one, the students showed up to the music room besides Enigma, who had gone back to keeping himself inside of his bedroom away from everyone.
So I know that everyone has been down all day because of what Monokuma said this morning, but we can't let that get us in a rut. Now I haven't taken piano lessons in a long time, but I figured I would try to play something for you all to lift some spirits if I can.
You play the piano?
Barely. I only know Christmas songs, sadly, because that was the only sheet music book that my mom had for our grand piano when I was a kid. She only bought it for decoration, but I did take a few lessons from my aunt when I was younger.
After cracking his fingers and taking a deep sigh, Masashi began to play from memory "Oh Christmas Tree" on the piano. It didn't sound like anything fancy, and only used a few of the basic notes, but it did do a great job at lifting everyone's spirits. After the song, everyone sat and talked for a little bit before heading off to bed. If they were truly going to be trapped in here for the rest of their lives, they should at least get comfortable being around each other. The next day, everyone awoke to have breakfast, and yet again, Enigma wouldn't leave his room.
I'm going to bring him a plate of food. This isn't normal behavior for anyone, said Sata.
Just be careful around that guy. If he can't remember who he is, how do we not know that he isn't some raging murderer or something?
Sata brought some food to Enigma's door, knocking on it to signal the arrival of breakfast.
Hey, sleepyhead. There's some food out here if you want to come and get it, said Sata in a light-hearted way.
Nothing could be heard coming from the room.
Okay, fine. I get it you don't want to interact with anyone. Eventually, you're going to have to leave that room though and come be a part of the group just like anyone else, said Sata as she left the plate of food right outside of his door for him to grab later. As the day went by, people went off and did their own things to pass time. Nothing much to do when waiting for the inevitable news of being trapped in the school forever. Later in the day, Sata went back over to the bedroom hallway to find an empty plate of food sitting outside of Enigma's bedroom. You couldn't even say thank you. Rude,
exclaimed Sata as she picked back up the plate. That night, everyone returned yet again to the music room for another performance by Masashi. This time, he played a basic version of Silent Night for everyone that was met with a round of applause. With only one more night left, the looming dread of Monokuma locking them in the school forever was beginning to take its toll. Once again, everyone headed to bed with the feeling of defeat still inside of them all. Would they be able to really live inside of the school forever? The final day was upon them and things were looking grim. Once again, Enigma decided not to join them for breakfast, irritating Sata, who had tried to form some sort of connection with the outcast of the group.
You know, despite how angry Enigma was, even I don't understand how he could be angry enough to lock himself up in his room for this long.
I did see him the other day, briefly though, said Eureka to the surprise of everyone in the dining room. Yeah, I saw that his door was open yesterday afternoon and his hand popped out from the room and closed the door as I tried walking up to it. Ugh, talk about rude.
I wonder what his problem is,
thought Sata as she continued to dig into her breakfast. The final day was extremely somber. No one was filled with energy, and no one wanted to be stuck in Hope Peak Academy forever, but knew it was a fate they couldn't avoid. The students tried doing chores around the school to get their mind off of the incoming news from Monokuma tomorrow, but even that didn't help cut the tension in the air. It wasn't until the final night in the music room that everyone met back up to discuss their feelings.
I can't believe we're gonna be stuck here forever.
I've been trying to avoid thinking about it, but just the thought that we'll be stuck here for the rest of our lives just makes me so anxious.
Guess that means I won't be able to do my YouTube stuff anymore. At least I had a good run.
I mean, we can't think of it like that. We found an exit once out of this school. Who's to say we can't find another one in the future? I've got an idea. I have one more song I've committed to memory I could play for you guys. Sadly, it is another Christmas song. Anyone know of We Wish You a Merry Christmas? Asked Masashi as he cracked his fingers and began to play the piano. The first few notes to the song sounded much more advanced than the 2 songs he had played the last 2 days. But suddenly, as Masashi played the piano, a dull-sounding thud echoed throughout the room, breaking up the sound.
What the heck was that?
That's strange, said Masashi as he continued to play the piano as if he was searching around the keys. Another thud echoed throughout the room as Masashi hit the high E key on the piano. Very strange. This key on the piano appears to be broken. Hokusai took it upon himself to open up the piano and look inside. To his surprise, he discovered one of the piano wires completely missing from the inside of the case. The piano wire appeared to have been completely burned off and missing and melted away as small chemical burns could be seen on the wood underneath where the wire had been. Who did this? Why would someone destroy the piano like this? Asked Masashi. No one could give a clear answer why someone would have done something so strange.
It had to have been Enigma who did this. It doesn't make any sense for one of us to have taken a piano wire out of the piano.
Their music night had been ruined and everyone just wanted to try and get some rest. Early in the morning, before anyone could get up to even grab some breakfast, Monokuma's voice blared throughout the entire school.
Wake up, sleepyheads! Time for us all to have a meeting in the gym. Get over here now!
Demanded Monokuma, waking up everyone in the school. Little by little, everyone filtered into the gym, hardly awake and not looking forward to Monokuma telling them that they were going to be stuck there forever.
Welcome, students, to my morning announcements. I have brought you all here to let you know a little something,
spoke Monokuma with a renewed vigor.
Shouldn't you wait for Enigma to get here? It wouldn't be fair to say something important if not everyone is in the gym.
Oh, Enigma doesn't have to be here for this, because Enigma can't be here for this. I'm here to tell you that I am proud of you all because the final murder has been committed.
Everyone stood there in shock. Who could have done this? Who would have committed murder so selfishly?
Normally, I would just wait for you all to find the body, but I have a feeling that you all would go several days without finding it, and honestly, I just want to get the party started. So, here is me telling you to go look around for your buddy Enigma.
Without a second thought, everyone rushed out of the gym and ran towards Enigma's bedroom, which was Ebizo's old bedroom that he took over. Surprisingly, the door opened easily and wasn't locked at all. When they entered, the overpowering smell of cleaning products flew into their faces as they noticed that Enigma's room appeared to be spotless except for a few unsettling things. First off, it appeared that Enigma's clothes were neatly folded inside of the drawers in the room, a trait that seemed off from Enigma based off the limited knowledge they had of him. Secondly, inside of the room sat a plastic trash can just like the ones from the garbage room.
I'm not opening that.
I'll do it,
said Hokusai hesitantly as he opened it up. Suddenly, the smell of rotten eggs filled the room, causing everyone to gag immediately. Before quickly putting the lid back on the trash can, Hokusai noticed that inside was a large amount of sulfuric acid, similar to the stuff he made for Masashi to dissolve the brick wall. Then the familiar sound rang throughout the school as Monokuma said those dreadful words.
A corpse has been discovered inside of the school. Another murder has occurred. Just like before, you all will receive the Monokuma file that will detail any information you will need to solve this case. Good luck, students! I'll see you soon for your final class trial.
You mean Enigma wasn't there?
But that... Oh god, I think I'm going to be sick,
said Sata before running into the bathroom and throwing up inside of the toilet. It was time to start the investigation for the murder of Enigma. What you're about to see are a series of clues that will help you in solving this case. Make sure to also check through all the past episodes, as well as everything that's been shown up until this point for clues as well. Can you figure out who killed Enigma and how this crime was committed? The Monokuma file was very sparse for helpful information. Nothing of importance was listed besides the fact that Enigma's body was, for lack of a better term, dissolved away inside of a trash can filled with sulfuric acid. Nothing was listed, and it would be up to the students to try and figure out what happened.
How did he dissolve inside of that plastic trash can? Wouldn't the trash can itself dissolve if the acid was powerful enough to eat away a human body?
Whoever did this must have known that sulfuric acid doesn't dissolve plastic. Another thing I find interesting,
said Hokusai in a super nasally voice to avoid breathing through his nose as he opened up the trash can again,
is that the sulfuric acid is much more volatile than the stuff I made Masashi earlier. This stuff wasn't mixed as well as what I had made before.
Oh, please close that lid. Oh, I'm going to throw up again,
remarked Sata as Hokusai gladly closed the lid on the trash can again. So did he fully dissolve in that, or is there anything left for us to examine?
Not sure, but it wouldn't be safe to pour out the contents and find out. If Monokuma said that Enigma was inside of this, we are just going to have to take his word on it.
Are we 100% sure that one of us killed Enigma? I mean, if Enigma was hiding in the school the entire time, what is stopping there from being multiple people like Enigma lurking around? I don't think Monokuma would do that, said Masashi. It wouldn't make any sense for him to have other people around that we aren't aware of. It would ruin the nature of the game he's trying to play.
I really didn't want to do this. I thought we were done murdering people. Whichever one of you did this should be incredibly ashamed. You are no different than the monsters who murdered our other friends, shouted Sata as she looked around to find any clues. The entire room was silent after that, as they went about their own business investigating. The room that Enigma was staying in was Abizo's old bedroom, and he discovered why the room wasn't locked when they arrived. When they first showed up at Hope's Peak Academy, they were all given keys to the locks to their rooms. It could be determined then that because Abizo died, the key left with him. This entire time, Enigma must not have had any way to lock his door at night.
You noticed it too?
Asked Hokusai as he stood out in the hallway looking at the door. Yep, Enigma must not have been able to lock his door. Whoever murdered him likely did it at night when he was asleep, snuck in, and killed him somehow.
Very interesting, especially because we don't know the time of death.
Sata butted into the conversation.
Masashi, I need to ask you something in private if that's okay.
Masashi agreed, and both of them walked down the hall.
When you sprayed the wall with acid, what did you do with the bottle? Whispered Sata.
Actually, I'm pretty sure I left it in that secret passageway to keep it safe from Monokuma's eyes. Why do you ask?
Because when I remember back to when we first saw that exit was blocked by a brand new steel wall that Monokuma put in, there wasn't any spray bottle around with acid in it.
Interesting. So you think someone may have went into the passageway and stole it before we even discovered that the exit was blocked?
Perhaps. It is definitely something to think about.
As everyone continued to try and investigate for more clues, it seemed impossible to find any more. Whoever had committed this crime did a great job of hiding their tracks. After 20 more minutes of fruitless investigation, Monokuma called for everyone to enter the final class trial. You should have everything now that you need to solve this case. This will definitely be a very difficult one. Because Delphron is going to be in town, you guys will have 2 weeks to attempt to solve this final murder mystery. If you succeed, the innocent students will be set free. But if you fail, the murderer as well as 2 others will be freed from the school, but at a tragic cost. Good luck, everyone, and happy sleuthing.